This next guest, he lives by the motto, change one thing and change everything. And that is exactly what he did when he turned an online drinking game called Neknominations on its head by using his nomination to instead perform a random act of kindness, unaware that people across the world would adopt this new concept. These days, he has his own radio show and website called The Good Things Guy, where he shares interesting and inspiring stories of people who are making a positive difference in South Africa as well as around the globe. Joining us in the loft is Brent Lindeque. And it's very cool to meet the man behind these projects. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Awesome. So, Brent, are you that positive guy who's always around smiling?
You know what? They call me the good news guy or the good things guy, and I literally am. I live by those mottos. I carry it around. The positivity is really inside of me.
Yeah, cool. Let's before we even begin on sort of the journey that you've been on digitally and all these campaigns that you've run. I mean, you've been put up against some great awards. I mean, tell us about some of those achievements you've received.
In the time that from Neknominations, when that happened, I got given a Lead Essay Hero Award, which was pretty cool to be part of that alumni. Mail and Guardian said that I was one of the top 200 young South Africans, busy holding that flag. And then also one of the top 10 social entrepreneurs to follow on social media. Hey. I don't know what that means, but they did give me that award.
Digital is hard to get involved with. I mean, it's something that is always so unpredictable. Everyone's trying to do it and get excited about it. So I've always wondered whether this was something that was just a digital campaign that you were trying to make go viral. But clearly it wasn't. It was part of your lifestyle from the beginning. So talk us through that journey, seeing these Neknominations and then saying, hey, listen, I don't want to do that no more.
I think off the bat, you can never plan to go viral. You could only plan to sort of do something awesome and then hope. And I never thought that I would. When that happened 3 years ago, it was a silly thing that was going around the world. The people were downing alcohol and nominating other people to do the same. And when I first heard about it, two things went through my mind. The first, if you drink alcohol and you dare people to do stuff, it's bound to end badly. Like that's the way it's going to roll. The second, and I think it's something that South Africa's definitely learned this year, we can all be a little bit more responsible with what we put online. 10 years from now, when you're searching for a job and your boss Googles you and you're upside down drinking vodka, that's a different story.
Yes, absolutely.
You might not get the job. So when that all happened, I got nominated. And I thought at the time I could either do nothing and then nothing would have changed, or I could try to change one thing, which is sort of what I've learned to live by. Change one thing, change everything. And I went through, I bought someone a sandwich. I found someone in need, a homeless person, that I could give that sandwich to. I did. It's South Africa. We have homeless people on every corner. So I recorded it, put it online, and it went viral.
Sure. Within a matter of hours, it went viral. And I mean, that was flipping exciting. What do you think it was? How did your networks then get out so far? How did it reach so many people? Because I mean, apparently around the world, there's millions of people that have seen this and nominated each other. And it's a global campaign now.
I think it was right time, right place. It was the right time for that to happen. The same day, there was in the newspapers in Ireland 2 men that had passed away from Neknominations. So they picked up on somebody that was doing something positive. And when I put the video up, I actually said, watch how South African does it better, because we do. And it picked up so quickly. Within a couple of minutes, the video had 301 views, and I was blown away.
Yeah, you were like, yes!
I didn't even have 301 Facebook friends.
This is the video, I think, that got those 300 views initially.
Correct. Yeah. And what I didn't know is YouTube vets the videos when things start going viral.
Yes.
And 2 hours later, it was sitting at 10,000 views. The next day, 100,000 views, and all these international networks were phoning me to do interviews.
Amazing, dude. So it's really exciting to see that happen for you, particularly because now you've taken that and you've built, like, sort of, not a business, but a brand around it. So before we get into all your new projects, change one thing, change everything. Is that just an idea in your mind, or is that something you're actively working on?
That's something that I'm working on, and I think I was thrust into that space and I've become a catalyst for it.
Yeah.
I didn't plan it, but back then, you're only given 15 minutes, whatever they are. My video went viral, which was great. What do I do next? So I decided a couple of things. One, I would kick it off every year to try and inspire people to do good, and it's now called Random Acts of Kindness, which is RAC.
Yes.
And then also, I'll use whatever platform I have to inspire others and share good news. I think that's what the world could use more of.
Sure, man. And I think that's exactly what it is. So we want to come and find these platforms and get a little dose, because if you scroll through your social media feed at the moment, it's just negative, negative, negative. It's stories of people doing silly things with their lives, which make people laugh. And so those things go viral. So let's talk about those platforms. First of all, Good Things Guy, the website.
Good Things Guy. So it was about mid last year. It was exactly what you were saying. My social media feed was just filled with negativity. People love sharing bad news, for whatever reason that is. And I decided that I didn't want to share bad news anymore. I'd rather find bad bad news and get people to read it on my social media and hopefully share it. So I started a little South African
find good
page.
news, I hope you mean.
Good news,
Yes,
sorry. No bad news,
what?
no bad news. So I started a little Facebook page called South African, because I believe that we can, and that quickly gained traction. One of the first stories that I put up reached over 2 million people in the space of 3 weeks. And it's just people sharing good content. From that, I built an online magazine, which is called goodthingsguy.com.
Oh, dude, it's absolutely amazing. I think it's exciting to see you do and you building these platforms around you. I mean, I got a chance to interview on my radio show not too long ago when you were doing amazing work, and I think both of us have got this idea of just spreading positive stories, letting young people feel like there is actually hope and inspiring things out there for them. So I know RAC is going to continue on this year, right? What is expected? What can we do?
So I kicked off RAC 16 on the 1st of Feb, and this year I decided to do two things differently. One, I wanted to take it away from the social media side, because like my mom might be on Facebook, but she's not on Facebook all the time. So she might not know.
My mom is.
So she might not know what's going on the social media side the way that the youngsters do, but I want them to experience it as well. So I created a space on the website to create something called a paid forward card, where you could literally create a card to say, I'm going to buy you lunch. You leave that card with the lunch, and then it's able to live in the real world.
Oh my word.
Which I thought was important. It's something that I learned. And then also, in the 3-year process, there's been a lot of people who have said, I want to give books to this charity or do something. So I've created a little eventing space where you can list what you need. I call it a dating site for charities. You basically put up there what you want to give away or what you want to get involved in, and people are able to connect.
Man, so websites, Twitter, like sort of campaigns. You've got your own radio show. You're on TV doing a segment all about positivity. So I'm sure you must have met some amazing people in that journey. And after the break, I'm sure we'll be chatting more about those, right?
I'm excited to tell you about them.
Well, you're always excited. You're the good things guy. You have to be. After the break, South Africa, we're making a yogurt panna cotta with coconut whipped ganache. And we're on the couch back with Brent Lindeque. I'm just going Brent Lindeque. Brent Lindeque, to focus our attention on specific South Africans who are making a positive difference in their communities. Don't go anywhere. So it's an inspirational Tuesday right here on our show. We're back on the couch with the good things guy, Brent Lindeque, who's brought along a list of incredible South Africans that he's had the honor of interviewing, who are inspirational change makers in their communities, and he's kind of taken their stories, loaded them on their website. And so I think it's important that we honor these people, because there aren't many of these stories being shared around. And so I'd like to start with somebody by the name of Ruby Chikwiri.
Yeah, so Ruby, I met her last year, but her project actually started 2 years ago when she was 17 in matric. And she realized as a privileged girl that she was able to afford certain luxuries that other people might not. So she started a sanitary pad drive that she did in her matric year while she was studying. That year, she was able to raise the craziest amounts of sanitary pads that she got to give away to disadvantaged girls. At the time, I didn't even know it was a problem in South Africa.
Yes, exactly. And also as a guy, how would you know?
Never, ever. But when I met her, you realize that some of these girls in school miss months if you calculate the time that they're not going to school because of their monthly friends. So she's taken it upon herself, and every year, it just gets bigger. I was privileged enough to go and deliver some of the sanitary pads with her last year to one of the schools.
And to see the faces of the girls light up, because it is such a big thing for them, and it's an embarrassing space, it's a vulnerable space for them. To have you kind of break that open is awesome.
And actually it's not, because they totally go, we need this and you're giving it to us, and that's cool. And it was an amazing thing to be part of.
And Bokang Mosai, tell us his story.
I call him South Africa's kid president.
Okay.
He's 8 years old, and he dresses up in a little suit, and he's just the most phenomenal kid. He's really cool. He was diagnosed with a brain tumor a couple of years ago, and on the way to the hospital, he saw a bunch of homeless people, and to think that an 8-year-old realized that for that realization to kick in is weird, because kids normally just want to play cars. They're not really looking around and realizing these things. And he decided to do a blanket drive, which again, he does every year. He survived the brain tumor, he had it removed, and he's on a goal now just to help the homeless. He gets hold of his schools and people in his community, and every year for winter, he does a massive, massive blanket drive.
So it's proved that it doesn't take age or doesn't take a lot of wisdom to build a really positive and good heart. I mean, this kid is young.
Our kid president is going to be president one day.
Let's hope so.
Children of the future, and I believe, totally, he's going to do amazing things. If he's doing that at 8, just imagine when he's 20, 30, 40. It's going to be amazing.
Well, no pressure for our next one. Andy Lowton.
Andy Lighton is from Somerset West, and he decided to give back to his community by giving dignity back. His idea, he runs a food bank, and he decided that he didn't just want to hand over food, he wanted to give the guys their dignity back. So he created a bartering system where the homeless and the needy would come in the morning, and he would give them numbered plastic bags, and they would go and clean up Somerset West. They would go clean the rubbish, they would clean up their neighborhoods, and they came back with the bags as a bartering system.
Yes.
1 bag would get you lunch, 2 bags would get you a jersey, 3 bags would get you a blanket, and it's still going today. Again, that's like a 3-year project that just keeps growing.
Yo, man, so people are coming up with some really interesting and creative stories. Pilani Dladla?
He is the street librarian, the street book reviewer.
Yes,
He
I
is
love this.
absolutely phenomenal. I got to meet him. He brains, he's intelligent, he matriculated, but there's no jobs, and he couldn't find a job. So he decided to use his own opportunity. He loves books, he loves reading. He would stand on the street corners and give people little bios of the books and tell them what's good to read, what's not good to read, and he asks a donation in return. He's actually written a book since then, which is pretty exciting.
Word. And can we obviously donate books to him, and then he can try and get those out, which is awesome. So all these projects you can get involved with in some way or form. And the loving thing about these projects is that they're also personal to each individual that started them. I mean, you know, sanitary pads or something so close to her heart. This is a guy who loves to read, you know. It's really inspiring to see. Next story is also exactly the same. Oscar from Memeti, who I had the honor of meeting too, has his own disabilities, which people might perceive as a disability, but he's decided to turn that on its head.
Totally. So his actual disease that he's been diagnosed with, there's only 2 recorded people in the world that have the same disease. Genetically, his dwarfism is part of it, but it affects all his body parts.
Yes,
he died on a hospital table. They brought him back to life, and since then he's become an inspirational speaker and a hip-hop dancer.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
Yes.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
He's on his own TV. He's got a TV, like appearing in TV shows. He's living his life.
I met him and I got to sit with him, and I literally walked out more inspired than I've ever been, because here's this kid who's just gone, actually no. He goes to schools, and one of his main talks that he does is about my normal is not your normal, but everybody's got a different normal. And he tries to teach that within South Africa, which I think is really important.
Dude, and all of these, obviously, these stories are available on your website, right?
They're on my website. I dig deep and I try to find these inspirational stories. It's things that people share, that they want to read, they just don't know about it.
Before I let you go, I have to ask you, you've met so many inspiring people, lots of positive stories. First of all, is it draining? And second of all, what is the one message you've learned from all these stories you've learned? What is the thing that we need as a nation?
So first of all, no, it's not draining. I think I feed off other people's energy, and to get inspired by people is what inspires me to keep going. The second thing that I've learned along this journey and meeting all these amazing people, it's about action, it's about execution. If you have an idea, if you have a concept, if you want to change one thing, get up and do it. There's a difference between doing something and talking about it, and I think that's what all these people that I've brought the stories of, they've done something. They've made that change.
They went out there and they did it. Love is an action, not a word.
That's what they say, right?
That's what they say. So Brent, it's an honor to have you in our loft with us today, and I hope the rest of South Africans can go and check out the website goodthingsguy.com. Is it .com or .com? And go check out all the amazing stories. Find them on the social media sites and continue to share this positivity around the country. Now, after the break, we're on the couch with the amazing portrait artist Marie Stander, who is releasing her second book of artwork to raise money for education in her home of Jamestown. We'll also be giving away a copy of this incredible book, so stay right where you are and keep your phones handy.
How you doing, YouTube fam? Thank you so much for watching, sharing and commenting. We love hearing from you, so be sure to keep up to date with all things Afternoon Express by clicking the subscribe button right here.